What's going on, you guys? Thanks for tuning in to the Drew Deeks channel today. Now, we are back to the new camera. Let's keep it moving forward with this channel, and thank you guys so much for all the support so far. You know I love you. You know I appreciate you. Now, while we're in the middle of a Canadian season that we're enjoying a lot better hockey than we were, especially last year, let's have some fun and look ahead to the 24-25 Montreal Canadiens season, putting together a mock lineup here, which hopefully will resemble at least half or 3/4 of what it could look like. Now, in doing my research for this video, I did realize that we still have the 23 draft to go through, the 24 draft, plus free agency in 23 and 24. We haven't gotten there yet, but if we can get at least half to 3/4 of this lineup correct, I thought it'd be fun to look ahead to see where the Canadiens are going and how good they're going to be. And that's my goal, is to help get you guys a little bit excited about how good the Canadiens are going to be in the next couple years. So let's enjoy the present, but let's also look ahead. We know what kind of team that we're trying to build. And it just so happens that today is actually the 1-year anniversary the Canadiens let go of former GM Marc Bergevin. So our eyes are on the future completely right now, and let's have some fun. Let's do a full head-to-toe mock lineup of the forward group, the defense, the goalies, everybody who's going to be coming out, who's going to be traded out possibly, and maybe some that are going to be traded in or signed via free agency. We'll see. All right, so no surprise on the first line as we get right to it, guys. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Juraj Slafkovsky. We know that Slav is our #1 pick from 2022, and our projection for him is to go to the top line and fill out that talent, just to make it even better with Cole, Nick. And we know they have a good thing going with Kirby Dach right now, but we really want to see Slav on that top line and become that top line producer that we know that he can with the skill set of Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield combined. It could be a deadly line. Now, line number 2 is where things get interesting, because this could really depend on so many factors, whether or not some of these players are going to be here still or are going to come here at all. So I've got Josh Anderson on the second line with potentially Sean Monahan, if somehow he stays here in the next couple of years, or Pierre-Luc Dubois via free agency in 2024. So if this is the most realistic projection I have for this lineup, potentially if Dubois is brought in by the Canadiens via free agency and the contract is right and it just makes sense, we've got Josh Anderson, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and then Kirby Dach on the right-hand side. Now, but if by some miracle the Habs are able to get a top 3 pick in the 2023 NHL entry draft, and somehow we get into the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, which I think we're still going to try to, we could be looking at Connor Bedard as our second-line center, Adam Fantilli. The beautiful thing about the 2023 NHL entry draft is that 11 of the top projected draft picks are forwards. They're either centers or forwards. So if you look at The Athletic anyway, and their early projections of who's going to go in the top 15 picks for the 23 draft. So all that to say, most realistic, I think, would be Josh Anderson, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Kirby Dach on your right side for that second line. I think that's a pretty good second line, if you ask me, unless we can get even more talent going down the pipeline to get someone like a Bedard or Fantilli. We'll see. On the third line is where I think things get a bit more realistic, because these 3 players are already in our system. So we've got on the third line Sean Farrell at center, Owen Beck, and on the right side Brendan Gallagher, who I may switch out for Philip Machar. We'll see in a moment, because we don't know if Brendan Gallagher is still going to be here in 2 seasons from now with his contract. We'll see how that works out, but I do believe it's going to be Brendan Gallagher or Philip Machar on the right wing on the third line in 2024-25. On your fourth line, this is where there's some question marks as well. It could be either Joshua Waugh, Raphael Harvey-Pinard, if they can somehow make to the jump to the NHL and stay there. At center, Jan Mysak or Riley Kidney, or Philip Machar is going to be your right winger on that fourth line. Now, this comes into a question because I think personally Jake Evans is not going to be with the Canadiens for the next 3 years. So I think at some point we are going to move on from Jake. I think we want a more offensive fourth line centerman. That's personally what I want to see. I think Jake's been fantastic for the Canadiens. I think that the direction that they're going, offense first on each and every line. That's what we're looking at. That's why we're excited to look ahead to this potential mock lineup, because offense. And that includes on the defense, which I'll get to next. So on the first defense pairing, the first 2 pairings you're going to see are very similar to right now in the 22-23 season. But on the first pairing, we've got Mike Matheson along with Caden Gooley. On the second pair, Arbor Jackeye and Jordan Harris. And on the third pair, drum roll please, Lane Hudson and Justin Barron or Logan Mailloux. So I think that if Justin Barron or Logan Mailloux is our 7th defenseman, we're in a good spot. That's actually something that I'd be looking forward to. So who's going to be leaving then if that's the case for the Canadiens in the next 2 years? Well, I think Chris Weidman will be gone, Joel Edmondson, David Savard, Jonathan Drouin, Dadonov, Hoffman, Armia is going to be gone, Pezzetta, Evans, Pitlick. That's who I think is going to be gone from the Canadiens. Now, I didn't include in this list, and I think I should, Emil Heineman, because Emil Heineman is on a conditioning stint not a conditioning stint, he's on an assignment over in Europe, back with the Swedish league, I believe it is. And I really think that he could potentially be somebody that makes the Canadiens going forward. So you can insert him in Brendan Gallagher's spot or on the fourth line and Philip Machar's spot, having him have like a full young line with, Jan Mysak at center, and then, Heineman on the left side, and then Machar on the right side, something along those lines. So, who knows, right? We're going to see what happens, but let's go to the power play units. Let's go to the power play units projected for 24-25 for the Habs. Nick Suzuki on PP1, along with Cole Caulfield, Uri Slafkovsky, Owen Beck, and Mike Matheson. A decent looking PP1 in 2 years from now. On PP2, if somehow the Canadiens are able to acquire, and by acquire, I mean sign, Pierre-Luc Dubois to a contract that makes sense for the Canadiens if the fit is right, under Marty St. Louis, who can't figure it out. But let's just say Pierre-Luc Dubois makes the team. Him with Kirby Dach, Sean Farrell, Philip Machar, and Lane Hudson quarterbacking your second power play units. Let's go through that again. If it's not going to be Pierre-Luc Dubois, I did have Owen Beck actually on the first power play unit, but I'm going to insert him here on the second power play unit just in case we don't get Pierre-Luc Dubois. I know that there's question marks around him all the time. So Owen Beck then in place of Dubois, Kirby Dach, Sean Farrell, Machar, and Hudson. So then you'd have to insert somebody on PP1. Maybe it would be Heineman, and I think actually Heineman would be better suited for PP2 in 2 years from now. So you guys let me know your thoughts on that. In terms of the goaltending situation, Sam Montembeault, Caden Primo, and I believe the Canadiens are going to try to draft another goaltender in the 23 or the 24 NHL entry draft. I don't think we're done acquiring goalies yet. I don't think we're set on Caden Primo yet for the future. And I don't have Jake Allen, as you notice, in this lineup because I think we'll be moving on from Jake before the 24-25 season. I think. That's pending if Sam Montembeault keeps playing the way that he is. So we'll see. But that's all I got for you guys. So let me know your mock lineup down below for the 24-25 season. Give me your dreams. Give me your visions. Give me your thoughts. Because as we know, there's a lot of players. The Montreal Canadiens have 11 draft picks still to make in the 23 draft alone before we even consider 24. So that being said, it's a really, really early projection for this mock lineup for the Canadiens, but we're looking forward to a team in a couple years from now. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun to watch. So let's look forward to that. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Deeksy signing off, everybody. Thank you for watching. Cheers.